And it ended this afternoon. Gillingham 1, Grimsby Town 1. Hello. I'm back with a review of the game at Priestfield this afternoon, where the Mariners have taken a point away at Gillingham. A very decent week for the Mariners after the 1-0 win in midweek against the MK Dons. Gives us 4 points overall. This game in general kind of been summing up Grimsby this season. My only real criticism is how many times have we taken the lead away from home and then lost it. Now, to be fair, again, a decent performance without a shadow of a doubt. The Mariners started the game. This was the Mariners starting 11 for the game today. We had Cartwright in goal, a back four, but turned into a back three actually, of Malarkey, Rogers, Tharm and Hume. Malarkey played as wing backs. Clifton, Green and Thompson. Holohan, it was more Holohan and Thompson played the holding midfield role, and a front two of Donovan Wilson and Justin Abikwu. And the bench today was Smith, Isa, Pike, Eastwood, Ganoa, Wood and Andrews in front of 6,065 people. The referee was James Bell. I'll get on to Mr. Bell in a moment. But let's talk about the game. It was quite a good game actually to watch when and listening to. It was sort of end to end type stuff. The Mariners started okay. We kind of having that confidence of that winning midweek against the Dons. And Gillingham again. It was quite an even game by the end of the game. I think the Mariners got a couple of early chances. So did they. But the Mariners broke the deadlock on 13 minutes when it was a beautiful move. I think it's down with Malarkey, who played the ball to Gav Holohan. It was a fantastic ball by Gav on Gav's 100th appearance, and he had the captain's armband for the day. Well deserved for Gav. Played a beautiful ball through the lines though for Donovan Wilson to run onto, and a beautiful take by Donovan, and slotted it home to give the Mariners a 13th minute lead. But it didn't last too long as Timothy Dieng assisted with it was a hopeful ball, but you put the ball in the box, you know what's going to happen. And one of our nemesis, we've always struggled against him, even when he was at Mansfield, George Lapslie, was able to get in at the back post and bring Gillingham level. One of our drawbacks of today is when Gillingham got down our flanks, they were very, very dangerous. I did agree with David Artell in this post-match. He said if we'd been able to keep it tight for about 10-15 minutes afterwards, we possibly could have gone on to win that. Although in the second half, Gillingham did smack the bar and also the post as well. So they may not have been direct chances, as David Artell said, but they were marginally the better team. They obviously had more of the ball, which, being the home side, you would expect. You can definitely see why they're chasing a playoff spot. You can definitely see that and why that is and why they're in and around it. But in general, I thought we tried to play some football. Harvey Cartwright again had. He's getting more confident in coming and grab the ball, which I thought was his handling was very good today. His catching was good. I know a person that got a lot of praise today was Doug Tarm, and I've got to say he was assured when he was coming in and heading things and things like that. Again with Curtis Thompson, I thought he did a fantastic job in defensive midfield. He was always tidying up most loose ends that were coming his way. He was again sort of assured. A big crew was lively. He always tried to make himself available down the wings. Not as effective today, but you get that sometimes, don't you? Some games you do fantastic. He was a danger that first half, but obviously I think, as David was saying, it was probably more his more Gillingham shape as to why, because at half time Abiku got subbed for Arthur Ganoa and Aboisa came in at half time as well for Harry Clifton, who had got booked earlier in that first half, and the other subs were Gil Pike, Jamie Andrews and Smith as well was for Malarkey, who towards the end was tiring. This back three that Dan were playing with, three centre backs, does seem to show us up a lot more. Say that, and like I said, they kind of caught us. It was kind of like the celebrating. We just come off celebrating the goal, and we just switched it off. And obviously, they were able to get the goal. So, and it stayed that way, even though I would say Gillingham in the second half had the majority of it. We did get back into it a little bit more second half, and I had a couple of little chances. They did it, but on the whole, a good draw away from home. You take 4 points from the last two games, and so I think again the football's not fantastic when we're able to play, which we kind of were, because there was a lot of gaps in the middle for both sides. Really, it was a very open game from what I could see, as well what I was hearing from the commentary. It was very, very open and very anybody's game, but I think Gillingham would have just edged it in general. I don't usually talk about referees, but I'm going to just before I finish. And the referee confused me today. I would say it's kind of he was giving cards and he was giving fouls. He was giving cards when the fouls didn't warrant them, and sort of not giving cards when the foul did warrant. When a card was more warranted. It's a bit funny, really, because obviously Lapslie had got booked in the second half, but there was a chance he could have got booked a couple of times in the first half. He was, he went in a bit a bit heavy on a couple of tackles and got a couple of our players, backs up to try and frustrating them, and that was probably the most inconsistent referee. I thought he was going to be, oh, here we go, he's going to be a card happy kind of guy. And he did start out that way because he was giving bookings, at least one or two of our bookings I wouldn't have classed as bookings. So, not the best, but that by at the end of the day, we ended up with a point. Well done to all the fans that travelled to Gillingham. It's been a long 7 days for you guys, really, hasn't it? Sutton last week and Gillingham this week. It's been there's been some miles driven this week or travelled this week by a lot of fans. And one other thing I want to pick up on David Artell, I have to admit, David Artell is starting to pick the results up and unbeaten in 6, which is fantastic. But there's always one thing that I wouldn't say gripes me about David Artell. No, it just griped me a little bit. He's talking about how good our waveform has been under Artell. And as much as I admit we have, we've only lost one game, which he likes to state. What David Artell doesn't state is we've only won one game away from home while he's been here. Just before I came on to do this review, I went and looked at David Artell's away record as Grimsby manager, and it's not that great either. It's only one defeat, which he says, which came at Mansfield, but he's won one game away from home as well since he took over. His record away from home is 1-1, lost 1, drew 7. So in 9 games away from home, 9 league games away from home, David Artell's won 1. He's only lost 1, but he's drew 7. Now at the moment, with everything going good and getting a couple of big wins at home, as we have against Forest Green and against MK Dons, that record doesn't look so bad because we've backed it up with a couple of back-to-back home wins. So it generally isn't that bad. But if you take the away form in general, or just under David Artell, it's nothing to write home about. 7 draws out of 9 games. Not really a lot to... I do wish, in a way, he would probably stop saying about how good the away form is. Because the away form's not great. It's been prepped up by a couple of the wins we've got at home lately. But it does bug me when he keeps saying, well, we've only lost one game away from home since I've been here. Yes, David, but you don't spin the other way, do you? And actually admit that we've only won one game away from home since you've been here. So it's just one of those things that, I'm sure fans will go, yeah, but we're doing okay now, which we are. We're 6 points clear of the drop zone, and David Artell in one way has been proven right. But I think, to be sure, as we've got 9 games left of the season, I'd like a couple more wins away from home before the end, because we haven't got many home games left, and we've got a couple of extra away games. Obviously, still going to get a Harrogate and still got to go to Colchester for the end of the season. So, overall, it was... but what do you think about that, about the away form? Again, it's not really a criticism, what I'm saying. It's not a criticism as such. It's more... It's not something to write home about. Usually I criticise Artell. I'm not, but I'm a little bit like, don't try and big it up. Because as much as we've only lost one, we've only won one. It's not like we've won 3, we've lost 2, and then we drew the other 5, or the other way round. Or we've won 7 and lost 2. We've drew 7 games, and a lot of those games as well we've had the lead in. But like I said, there is that positive to it that we're not losing games away from home, but we're not winning games. But then that's me being a bit picky. But I did want to just pick that out because I felt like David's acting like it's so great away from home when actually it's only 1 win away from home. And actually, we haven't won away from home since the turn of the year. So it's one of those things. We still haven't won away since December the 29th. So, although you can forgive him for January, as we didn't play away in January. So, but that's just one little thing that knocked me. But now, guys, you let me know if you went to Gillingham, or you listened to the game, or you watched the game. What's your thoughts on the game? A very good point, I thought. What do you guys think? Did you think it was a point gained? I think it was. Obviously, going away to a team like Gillingham, chasing the playoffs, you can't really fault the point. So I think it's a good point. I think it's but I'd like a couple of wins. I think we've only got about 5 away games left, or is it 6 away games left or something like that we've got. I'd like to win a couple of those before the end, just to level off what Artell's saying. Because even though he's right, at the same time, he's only won 1. So do leave your comments down below if you were there, if you listened on the radio, or you were lucky enough to watch the game if you were abroad or anything like that. So please do hit the like button, hit the share button, and also hit the subscribe button, including the bell button. That'll let you know when I upload some more Mariners content. And don't worry, National League fans, I will be doing a video for you in the next day or so. So do keep an eye out if you're a National League subscriber of mine. But to the Mariners subscribers tonight, leave me your thoughts on the game, and what do you think about the draw? Is it a good draw? Which I think no one's going to disagree. Just before I finish, that leaves Grimsby on 39 points from 37 games played, 6 points ahead of Colchester and Forest Green. So we're edging towards safety. We have to somehow get over the line though. So that's me done waffling and talking some utter rubbish. I'm sure now you guys will want to leave me your thoughts on what you think. So in the meantime, guys, I'll see you soon. I'll have the Wrexham preview up for you next week. And National League, guys, there is a video coming up for you in the next little while. Anyway, in the meantime, guys, I'll see you soon. Up the Mariners. Credible point. Like it. 6 games. 6 games unbeaten. Let's try and keep the momentum going, shall we? Bring on Wrexham. See you soon. Bye-bye.